Thank you for tuning in to the Sex and Suicide Soulfire Sunday podcast. I am your host, Shawn Evans. I also have with me my co-host, Scott Milne, IFBB Pro. Yeah, okay, no problem. He's going to grab his notes. And Paulie O'Byrne is the founder of 1 in 5 as well. We're going to put links to both their pages on the bottom of this video when we're done here. Thanks for coming, boys. So tonight's topic is going to be stop being angry and control your mood swings. For those of you that aren't familiar with what we're doing a cognitive behavioral therapy approach to attacking anxiety and depression, which is a 15-week course from the Midwest Center with Lucinda, Bassett. You can get that at stresscenter.com if you're interested. But we've got some exciting news from Paulie tonight, right?
I guess so.
Well, an exciting update. It's not really news. We talked about the OPP mental health speaking the last couple of weeks, but let's hear about what you did this week, buddy.
So I flew on a little tin can airplane to Thunder Bay, and I spoke at the headquarters in Thunder Bay, and it was
for OPP, right?
The OPP. It was a really cool experience. Just I've never seen Northern Ontario from the sky before. It was super cool.
Puddle jumpers.
Yeah, a little puddle jumper. It was fun. It was really fun. I'm just grateful to be working with the OPP on this strategy. I think it's like a fun experience. I'm grateful to be part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How's it going? Like, how are you being received when you go there? It's all positive feedback?
It's all solid positive feedback. It's like actually kind of blossomed into other speaking engagements too. So,
awesome.
Like it's not that is kind of, I'm just glad that the message is getting out there to more people, right?
Sure.
To more frontline people, and that's kind of what the goal was from the start, is try to get this out to the frontline constables and the people that are arresting people.
But it's a nice side effect to have speaking engagements coming in for sure, because that's just going to spread the message even further.
And as long like it's more about the message than anything else, right?
Yeah, just like this.
Yeah, if we can get as many people just even commenting or talking about sexual abuse or addiction or mental health, I think that's a way that we can smash this stigma. We don't have to go to funerals anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, right?
Yeah.
We're getting closer than we've ever been, right?
You betcha.
So, how was your week, Scott?
It was good, I guess.
It was good?
Yeah.
What did you find with this session? Let's talk about the session right now, which is really focused on anger. I know that this session really spoke to me because even just last weekend I had a fucking snap reaction. And that was with family members. It was just one of those things where at the dinner table with mom and dad, let the wrong comment that get to me and just kind of went off the handle a little bit. So I definitely needed this session to come into play right now. How have you guys dealt with anger throughout your past? Like what has been sort of your pattern if you think back?
Mine hasn't been good, that's for sure. I've been an angry person for a long time.
Do you think that you have a temper? Would you say you have like a snap?
Yeah, I definitely have a temper for sure. I'm Irish and I used to blame it on that, but I'm angry.
Yeah.
I'm definitely an angry person. It's gotten a lot better since I got sober, but I'm definitely still an angry person, and I work on that. I think this came at the right time.
Yeah.
To
really shine a light on that?
To shine a light on that, yeah.
What about you, buddy?
I'm not typically an angry person. Like I've only lost my temper a couple times in my life.
Yeah.
I more internalize it, which is bad.
Right. So there's two sides of it, right? There's the side where, as we kind of went through, there's a side where, like Paulie and myself, we tend to snap and overreact. Did you say you overreact?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big overreactor. And then there's the other way where you kind of bottle it down, and either you get angry with yourself for kind of keeping it in, or you just it's not healthy. You got to release it somehow. I don't know, right? So anyway, when we get to the audio, we listened to the audio session with Lucinda, and Lucinda, we took some notes, and we'll kind of go through some of the notes that we took, and you guys just chime in when something hits home to you.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So this hits with people with anxiety and depression are usually either really good at being angry, so angry that they're aggressive, maybe even explosive at times, or they're really, really good at holding it all in, being victimized and manipulated and controlled and dominated. So for a big guy like yourself, some people might find that interesting because you wouldn't think that...
It's the exact opposite.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite. And people have taken advantage of that and manipulated you.
Huge.
Over the years. Yeah.
I think that's like what I'm struggling with now is like, especially over the last couple of years, what I've dealt with and my friends, like, you know, just everything that they've, so-called friends, as you say, everything they've done to me, like, now I'm really struggling with my anger.
Right. Like, do you have Do you want to release that in some way? Is that kind of what's been happening? Like, is it trying to surface? Yeah, maybe. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
which is bad,
right?
because if it does, like, you know,
you got a lot of weight behind you to terrorize shit.
Because that's what people always said. You know, they always make these comments. Man, if I had your size, I'd just like beat the shit out of people. I'm like, yeah, I did that. I'd kill people.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like the
And
one
it's
time
not
I
who
did
you
was
are,
one time
man.
I put a guy through a wall.
Wow, I'm glad I wasn't that guy.
You know.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean,
Like you just said,
so I don't know which is
that's
worse,
who
like
you
taking
are,
it out on
right,
somebody or internalizing it. 'Cause
Yeah.
when I internalize it, then, you know, like, I guess that's probably where part of my addiction came from, right?
right.
Right.
Abusing myself and trying to swallow all these emotions and feelings with drugs.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of self-awareness there.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you should be proud of yourself for realizing all that. It obviously took some time, but you're getting there.
Yeah.
And, like, being angry is, like we said, there's a few different ways to handle it,
Yeah.
neither of which is healthy, right? So this is kind of a healthier way of dealing with it. So we've just said there's two kinds of anger, and we've got both kinds right here. So neither one of these responses are healthy. It's believed that anger is genetic and environmental, which I think is huge.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's why I say I'm Irish, right?
Yeah.
Like that's definitely. My dad was angry. My papa was angry. The O'Byrne men are angry men,
Right.
and I think that I'm no different than them, and I don't blame them for that. I just kind of say, well, that's who I am.
Partly learned behavior. Though,
Yeah,
right?
it's definitely
You
learned
grew up-
behavior.
I've seen
Yeah,
that.
it's learned
That was the
behavior.
opposite. I
Right.
grew up in very like no one ever yelled in my household.
Right.
I never seen my parents like swear at each other or yell or anything.
I hate it. I
Never
hate
done.
anger. Like
Yeah.
I really do. I really do. I don't like anger around me because it sends some trigger. Like, and I've had to work on that. Like
Yeah.
in therapy, that like I just don't like yelling and screaming. I hate it happening.
Yeah.
It's not conducive to any, solution to anything. Really,
Right.
yelling and screaming is just kind of wasting your lung power. To
Well,
me.
it's a waste of energy.
It is a big waste of energy.
And I'm the
So
same.
you really just harm yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they kind of tell you in this too, right? Is we end up being the ones, when you get angry, who do you end up hurting? You end up hurting yourself most of the
It's
time.
like drinking poison and then hoping the other person will die.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's a great analogy.
That is actually.
That's a really good
it
analogy.
doesn't work that way, right? Like that's how anger works, but you don't want it to work that way. You want
No.
the other person to die from it, and you're drinking poison.
Right, and we'll get into a little more detail what that reference is to.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that just being genetic and environmental at the same time, it's almost like, well, as a little toddler, if you think about your environment, it's genetic in the sense that maybe it was learned behavior through the generations, but if you've seen people get angry, you're absorbing all that. You're seeing that firsthand. So whether it's genetic or environmental or kind of a combination of both, it's just while you were young, whether you were in the environment, if you were exposed to it really at all, you're probably going to continue to bring that up.
Exactly.
So that hit home for me a little bit. So anger can be learned, and it can become an addictive bad habit, and you need to break that habit. So the more you practice anything, the better you get at it. We know that very well. So whether it's negative thinking, worrying, or being angry, the more you practice it, the better you become. Many people who suffer from anxiety and depression are either really bad at expressing their anger, they get irritated very easily, they feel like a time bomb ready to go off, which would sort of be us, or they don't express it at all, almost like they don't think they have a right to any anger. So it's very black and white, which is kind of like you, right? So it's very black and white, so from extreme to extreme. And we tend to think in terms of black and white when the world is extremely colorful, which is kind of like each situation is unique, but because we develop these patterns, especially if you're already an anxious person and an overthinker, you have like a pattern that you go to. It's just automatic after a
It
while.
almost turns into an addiction, right? That's what I've written down here, that like control is an addiction, and that anger is just a loss of control, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that can become addicting. Like it
Yeah.
really, I know for me, for a long time while I was actively using, that I thought I had every right to be angry.
Right.
I thought I had every right to be angry at this person who molested me. I had every right to be angry at my family.
Yeah.
Like I really thought that, and really this person, say like the person that molested me, he didn't know I was angry.
Right.
It wasn't harming him at all that I was so angry. I was
Right.
like I was turning it inwards, but people knew. People were like, "Oh, don't fuck with Paulie, like he's pissed," right? And
Right.
that's just the way it was, and I kind of thrived off that. And
Yeah.
I don't. Now that I'm sober, I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
And that takes time too, right? That takes a lot of work.
That does take a lot of work.
Forgive myself first and foremost, right?
Mhm.
I think that's what it all comes down to, is just forgiving myself, and that's a process in itself.
Right.
It takes years.
Yeah, for sure. Forgiveness
For
takes
sure.
time.
Yeah.
Again, like they say, I mean, it's a bad habit. It's not going to break overnight. You got to work on this shit. So, so people who suffer from anxiety and depression usually have no idea how to use anger effectively. And there is a way to do that, which I found interesting because I didn't really think it had a place anywhere.
Right.
Because it's okay to have anger.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way to communicate. Many of us have a hard time expressing our anger because we don't want to hurt someone. We might even be better at expressing it to someone we are close to, but we may have a tough time expressing it to others, such as colleagues at work. And the reason for that is that we want everyone to think we're in control and confident, and that's how we want to appear.
Right.
I think that's how everybody wants to appear. And often we'll hold it in, and when we get home at night, we'll either take it out on the kids, or take it out on the dog, or take it out on family members, because we know we can show them that angry side of us and they'll still love us.
Right.
Which is kind of shitty, man, because
You always take it out on
you always-
someone that's close.
yeah,
right?
you
'Cause
always
you know
take-
that they're not going anywhere.
unless you're in a relationship where you're bringing it up repeatedly with your significant other, and then if that's continuing to happen, they should leave, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless someone can only take so much abuse.
Right.
So, but to express it in front of our coworkers and express that vulnerable side of us, we need approval. We need to be liked at all costs. So we'll only show it to certain people,
Yeah.
the anger and that. And I've definitely been on the receiving and the giving end of that with people that I've loved and cared about.
Most definitely. I think we all have, really.
Yeah.
I think because anger is a normal emotion.
Yeah.
We're not gonna stop anger from happening.
Right.
There's gonna be a lot of things in life that make us angry. I think it's just like resilience. It's how we deal with it. Like if someone's angry towards me, it's how I deal with that. And I mean, right now I'm trying not to respond or react.
Right.
For a while, right?
Right.
Like I give it the 5x5 rule, or the 24-hour rule. Like,
Yeah.
is it gonna matter in 5 years? Then I'll spend about 5 minutes being angry about it, and I gotta let it go. Then
That's a good rule.
if it's not
Yeah.
gonna matter in 5 years, then I don't spend any more than 5 minutes being angry about it. But
What about-
that's hard too?
It is- well, it's
that's
harder.
gonna be tough.
It's hard because in 5 years you might not remember a person you were dating,
Right.
and that might take a pretty big toll on you at the time.
Oh, for sure.
Like that might be a sort of a unique circumstance in which it requires more than 5 minutes.
Oh, for sure. Like, and that's where the 24-hour thing comes in.
Yeah.
That's when hockey parents are pissed at me, I always say, you gotta give me 24 hours. If you're still mad, then talk to me, right? If
Yeah.
you're still as mad as you are 24 hours, just let's cool it though, because our emotions do get the best of us, and not very many people know how to communicate anger effectively.
No,
Right.
not at all.
I don't.
No?
I don't. No.
Well, this is all stuff that we can learn. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
the good news, right? And we'll go through that in weeks to come. It's more so about being assertive than it is about being angry.
Mm.
But you're allowed to feel angry.
Yeah.
That she does talk about that rule. It's the first time I've heard the 5x5 rule. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I like that too.
The 24-hour rule, I have heard. She kind of talks about it in here. We're kind of jumping ahead, but basically it means, if you're upset about something, don't respond or react
Yeah.
for 24 hours. And then if you're still upset about it, communicate to whether it's an individual or the situation, communicate in an assertive and positive way and express yourself.
Right.
Rather than that whole,
Lashing out around.
lashing out is a perfect rule.
You write the big long email to them and don't send it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a couple days, reread it, and they're like,
It doesn't matter anymore.
No.
Yeah, for sure. I've been getting better and better at that. I used to be the guy that wrote those long ass text
And then
messages
send.
and sent it, right?
Right away.
Now I'll start to write it still. I catch myself and I'll be like, you know what? That's not necessary. That's not who I am anymore. This is an
Yeah.
old bad behavior. It's an old
I
pattern.
think that's a sign of maturity too.
I think so
I
too.
think that really is just saying, pick your battles.
Yeah,
Really?
as you get
Pick
older.
your battles, yeah.
Sometimes it's still hard. Sometimes
Oh, it's
I
hard
still
as fuck,
want to.
For sure it is.
I still want to smack people over stupid shit sometimes, but
100%.
yeah.
I think it's hard, just as humans in general, we want to have the last word, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to look like the weaker person, I guess, by saying you're right, I'm sorry.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
So many people have trouble saying I'm sorry and admitting that they did something wrong or admitting that they hurt somebody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one you mentioned. I mean, we're kind of getting sidetracked here a little bit, but when you say, people need to be right, a lot of the time that you see more and more of that these days, people trying to be right, but really, what is the advantage of that?
Like with ego.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
just
it.
ego.
That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're having an argument with the woman that you love and it's going back and forth over something stupid, why not just let her have that?
Yeah.
Or him. Like, it's just, obviously it goes both ways, but like, suck it up, man. Just take it.
It's about being at peace than being right.
Yeah, it just kind of like, learn to laugh at the situation. Be like, wow, we're fucking laughing about this bullshit, or we're arguing about this.
The 5x5. Like, is this going to matter in 5 years? So why are we arguing about it?
Right, exactly.
And that can just build onto more like resentment with these stupid little arguments back and forth. At the point in time you're breaking up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So back to sort of, we only show people our anger, like certain people that we love. At work, if we had a panic attack or embarrass ourselves in front of all these people, what would happen? It's too great a risk. That's why we save it for when we get home and bring it out on the people we love.
Or road rage.
Or road rage too. Yeah, there's lots. Did you guys read the list in the workbook at all of the little things? Like, like four. In the workbook that we do, you gauge it from 0 to 4, I think, of like whether or not you get extremely irritated or not.
Driving in front, where we're going slow, I left an appointment.
Yeah. All that stuff. I did like 4 for like everything. Yeah. They brought up some really good points.
Yeah, they did.
So someone blame you for something you didn't do. That was a big one for me.
That was a huge one for me.
Yeah. So there's lots of things that you can tell that you develop a quick response to. Sometimes getting angry at our spouses or significant others, we may feel like an abusive person would feel with the guilt. So that was a really cool point that she brought up. She kind of said there are abusive relationships physically, but there's also abusive relationships verbally, where you can lay it all out there on your partner and then pretty much feel like you just beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And the guilt that you carry from that can be, it can even produce more anger.
Right.
So it can be a cycle.
For sure.
Which is pretty wild. So
I get that. I can totally appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
I try to make sure that my side of the street's clean before I judge anyone else.
That's the way to do it, man.
Because I know that I'm not perfect. And I know that a lot of other people aren't perfect, but I'm not here to call anyone else out.
I think that we can all admit we're not perfect. Yeah. And by actually doing the work that we need to on ourselves, we kind of, I'm not saying you become more of a perfect individual, but it makes you feel just cleaner inside. It's like you feel like a better person when you look at yourself first. Say, okay, what's my role in this before lashing out and blaming someone else?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That was one of the points she made in there. Like,
it
if
is,
someone's angry at you or says something, it's like, well, are they like, did I really do something wrong, or is it something that's like they're
bothering them?
Yeah.
Right.
Most of the time, it's that.
Most of the time, I think the point that she said was most of the time if someone's angry at us, it has nothing to do with us. It could have been something they've gone through during the day, and they're just lashing out, laying off the chest.
Past that triggered them, so they take it out on you.
Yeah.
The closest.
And at that point, it's our decision to decide if we're going to let that affect us or if we're going to just kind of go on with our day.
Yeah.
So here's where we talked about we have a right to express our anger, especially if we feel we've been violated. But for many of us, we get home, we take it out on our family, and we don't take it out on the right people, and nothing happens. So the situation is still the same as when you left it. You have the right to stand up for yourself. If you don't fight for yourself, no one else is going to. Right, Scott?
Yeah.
But there is a way to do it effectively. We need to state what's on our mind. We need to state what we're feeling about it. We don't want to yell and scream. We don't want to put the other person on the defensive, because that's only going to lead to an argument. And the winner of the argument will probably be the person with the most aggressive personality, and that's probably not us or you. So many of us can stay angry at someone for days, weeks, and maybe even years. This is such a negative energy and it's so draining. And I know you can relate to this one. And it sounds like you can relate to this one going back into the past too. So when we hold grudges and carry around anger towards someone else, they're still a part of our life, even though that person probably isn't thinking about us at all.
Right.
So this is where you just kind of talked about
That's the resentment part, right? Like,
yeah.
Resentments are the biggest triggers for relapse.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me about that a little bit for relapsing. Like this is an addiction.
Yeah, like in addiction stuff, they say like resenting someone or holding on to resentments is one of the biggest things to trigger relapse.
Really?
Yeah, because it just takes you down to that angry, like
The hole.
pissed off, the dark hole.
Right.
And then we take it out on ourselves, right?
Right.
So-
And you think that going to having that drink or doing that drug is going to take that away.
It's like that.
Well, because it numbs your feelings, right?
Right,
Numbs what
right.
you're going through, or numbs whatever, or gives you the, I don't know, the courage, like liquid courage in a sense, like to go and yell at that person or take it out on somebody in the bar that pisses you off, beat the shit out of them, you know.
Right. So is
Go
anger
to jail.
is that a pretty big feeling that you work with in addiction? Like
Oh, for
anger,
sure.
yeah, anger must be a big one, right?
It's like hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Those are your like for halt, they call it.
Yeah.
Hungry, if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, like you got to talk to someone.
Right. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Halt.
Halt.
Yeah.
Really?
And that's about like that's where you're close to relapsing, right? Resentment, that's anger, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like that's you're close to, or you could potentially relapse. Which, I mean, if you reach out, you don't have to relapse.
Right.
Which I think is the best kind of. Not if you're like I'm not saying if you're hungry you're gonna relapse.
Right.
Like if you're hungry, go grab a burger,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
that'll make you feel good because, like we talked about last
Yeah.
week.
We didn't talk about burgers though last week.
Well, and go grab some food.
Yeah.
Go grab some water.
Yeah. Grab something healthier, right?
Healthy, yeah.
That's okay.
There's healthy burgers.
Healthy burgers.
There you go, healthy burger.
From A&W, they're healthy.
Hero burger.
Hero burger, yeah.
Okay, we're off topic.
It's all good. So when we do that, the person isn't thinking about us at all, and they still have control over us when they aren't even part of our lives anymore. This was a big one for you, I know.
It's like renting space and like
Real estate.
real estate in my head
Yeah.
for free, and he's not paying me, right?
Exactly.
I held space in my head and anger towards this person who molested me for years.
Yeah.
And I still have some anger towards him.
Yeah. That's a hard one to let go of.
It's a super hard one to let go. Like this does matter in 5 years.
Yeah.
You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm spending more than 5 minutes on it, and I know that I can work through it. I think
Yeah.
that's the best part. Is I know there's a solution. And I can work through it. I'm not homicidal towards the guy. I'm just
Right.
I'm angry that he altered my life, and
Yeah.
I'm almost grateful that he altered my life because look what I'm doing now. I get to find little tin cans, but at the same time, I would
And
I
he's still a
would.
piece of shit. So.
He's
Yeah.
still a piece of
Doesn't
shit in
change.
my eyes, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Well, and then
Imagine what he goes through in his
Yeah.
life. Like,
Yeah.
would you want to be him? No.
no.
Right?
For sure. And I think I've talked to the police about that before, and I used to be very angry with him, and I talked to the police, and they said, if you kill him, you're going to be a murderer,
Yeah.
and he's not going to have to live with what he's done.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, like, at least he lives in a little shitty town. Like, if he goes to the grocery store, the cashier's going to know what he's done.
Yeah.
So that's justice enough for me right now.
Yeah.
He's going to have to answer to someone someday,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know, like-
Well, he's
Absolutely.
going to have to answer to the creator, right?
to the creator, and I hope he's the size of Scotty.
Bigger than me.
I hope
Yeah.
he's bigger than you, yeah.
Well, this is good. This is good conversation because we need to let go of all these old angry feelings, and a lot of this is simply about forgiveness, which is much easier said than
Yeah.
done in circumstances like you've encountered.
I don't know if I'll ever forgive him.
No.
I forgive myself, though.
Yeah,
Like, and that's a process.
that's a big one
to
too.
itself is to forgive
Yeah.
yourself. But I don't know if I have to forgive him. To be honest with you,
I don't think you do. I mean, I think it's just
Yeah.
when we say it's just about forgiveness. Like for example, when we apologize for our own part in relationships not working out, for example, without any expectation of the other person apologizing,
Right.
that's when we can truly let go.
Right.
So it's when you apologize, it's really about sort of admitting your mistakes
Right.
and where you went wrong, and just putting that out there, whether or not they admit theirs or just walk away with
Or
that.
respond in
Whatever,
way,
it's
yeah.
for you
Yeah.
to kind of get that closure and
Yeah,
move
for
on,
sure.
right? So they no longer occupy that real estate.
Yeah.
So
That's
sometimes,
maturity.
what's that?
That's maturity.
Yeah, that's true maturity, man. That's
Yeah.
hard though.
That is.
Again, this is all easier said than done.
Yeah.
This takes practice. It is not going to happen overnight. This is my third time going through this program, and I still learn something every time that I think about anger, and I still have those moments. They're less and less, mind you,
Yeah.
but they're not completely eliminated from my life. Sometimes as an anxious or depressed individual, we take something and dwell on it for days at a time. We hope that by being angry, we're going to make someone else either feel angry too, or they will somehow see the power in our anger, which is kind of stupid when you think about it. And as a result, they're going to end up doing what we want them to do. So it's like, by being angry at this person and walking around the house and and just being angry, maybe they'll do what we want them to do.
Which 9 times out of 10 does not work.
No, and it goes back to our expectation episode where it's like, what do you really expect here and what's realistic?
Yeah.
So there's
Expectations, though, like I've heard about expectations, they're predetermined resentments.
predetermined resentment.
If you have an expectation you don't, and someone doesn't on someone else, and they don't meet that, you're gonna be stressed. You're gonna be angry, right? Whether if they don't meet that, and I think
that's a good way to look at
just
it.
don't have expectations,
Mm-hmm.
or try to keep your expectations as low as possible, and you might get some really cool serendipitous moments.
Right.
You know that. If we put people up on this pedestal or have this expectation of them, they don't meet that, they're still doing the best they can, then I'm going to be angry with them.
Yeah,
They're going to be pissed at themselves because they didn't meet an expectation that everyone gets hurt, right?
Yeah.
So I do think.
I think you're right. When you don't have expectations of people, and then they surprise you, and then you can be like, oh wow.
Those are beauty moments, right?
And those are just the moments you cherish, actually.
Yeah.
Because they come out as a surprise. And how many surprises? I'd rather have pleasant surprises in my life than all these disappointments.
Right. But it's hard not having
for sure,
expectations of people, right?
yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah. Especially if you have high expectations with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put yourself, you
Hold yourself to your standard, right.
Like, if you wouldn't do that to people or treat someone that way, and then they do it to you, you're like, what the fuck?
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
That's tough.
And that's somewhere where you just have to say, look, I mean,
you treat people well and with respect, and then they shit all over you.
Yeah. But that's something that, like, we can't control that. And that's something, again, this is practicing, like, almost just sort of letting go. And just like, look, I can't control the way that person acts. I expected what I expect for myself, and they're not me.
Mm-hmm.
So what can I do?
Yeah.
But, so we have these questions that we need to ask ourselves when we're angry. One of the most important things we can do is think before we react. Ask yourself, what am I really angry about? Does this have something to do with the person I'm mad at, or is it really about me? What end result do we want? What's the eventual outcome? So we're so into, and I think this is getting more and more these days, and this is where a lot of the anxiety is coming from, is this want and this need for immediate gratification.
That's I think the age that we're in right now.
Unfortunately.
I always say there's no resilience, or there's no instant gratification and resilience, right?
Right.
So like, it's not like, especially with this stuff. If we work on this stuff, it's not going to be like we're changed tomorrow.
Not at all.
You know, we got to keep working on this, and I think that's with recovery.
Yeah.
Like, you got to. It's a daily practice, and you got to keep working on it. And it's not about instant gratification. Although, as people that, are, for me at least, like I'm an addict, I want like that, right?
Right. And so do people with anxiety and depression.
So do people with anxiety and depression. But we kind of have to have a little bit of faith and patience, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be what it's going to be.
And so obviously we want things to happen right now, and we also tend to react before we think.
Yeah.
Anything we are used to doing, that will become an automatic response. So if you're irritable and you're tired and you're used to reacting with anger, that's what you're going to do automatically. The best thing for us to do, and we've kind of talked about this a little bit, is to stop ourselves and say, hey, wait a minute, what am I really angry about, and what do I really want to happen as an end result? What do I really want to accomplish here? What's the best way for me to get what I want? And most of the time, it's not snapping on the person and calling them a fucking idiot.
Right.
Right? So being angry usually isn't the best way to do it. Usually, being assertive and telling the person how we feel about the situation and why it's upsetting us, and maintaining a nice, calm voice, and trying to work through it and let this person know what we really want to happen here is a better solution. We always want to ask ourselves if anger is useful. Is it really going to help us achieve a productive outcome? Or is it going to make us feel bad and negative and really not solve anything? And I know for me last week, when I lashed out, it didn't solve anything. It just, it just made me upset with myself for a few days. Yeah. And I didn't like that. If they're
Go ahead. Me, like, because of my size and because of whatever, like everyone in my life, everyone's always so afraid to like approach me and tell me stuff. They're like, oh, I don't want to get them pissed off.
Really?
Yeah, it's like they think I'm going to rip their heads off, or like I'm going to do something to them. And it's like I'm the most like laid back, calm person in the world.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's so afraid to talk to me and so afraid to make me upset.
Did you anticipate?
So they all talk behind my back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the mature thing to do would be obviously to discuss it with you and know that you're not the hot-headed type.
But friends should know that if they've been in
Yeah.
your life for that many years.
And they still don't, eh?
No.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, we get it.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, man. We see the real you. So that's a good thing. If there's no reason for your anger, then dissolve it. This was a really cool one. So the saying that Lucinda said in this program was when you get angry, there's two things you can do. Obviously, we're going to follow Paulie's rule, which is the 5x5 or the 24-hour rule.
Yeah.
And after that 24 hours, we either dissolve it, which means, obviously after 24 hours it no longer bothers us and we just got worked up over nothing, or we resolve it. And if you're going to resolve it, you reach out to the person that you're angry with or the situation, whatever it is. Usually it's a person.
Yeah.
I think most of the time we're angry at people. I don't think we're angry. I guess you can get angry at life or just stubbing your toe in the morning, but I mean, you have to kind of figure out where your anger is best spent, because as we'll see in a minute, when you get angry, it really mimics a lot of the times your symptoms of anxiety. The adrenaline goes, and you get that same response.
I think what I liked about that is like resolve or dissolve it. Was that you got just if you're gonna resolve it, you just be assertive, right? Don't resolve it with anger,
Right.
Don't say,
Well, you're not going to resolve it with anger, probably.
because you're gonna you might as well dissolve it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, right? So
You have to kind of decide how important it is to you.
yeah, and that's a daily practice, right? Like I've written down here, like assertive, calm voice. Like try to do that on a daily practice if you're angry all the time. Like, and I know people that are angry all the time, and really, I think that at the end of the day, they just need to change some things up, and they won't be so angry. But I'm not a professional. I'm not a counselor.
Right, but I mean,
But that's where they need to. They haven't identified what is it
Right.
they're angry about, right?
Right.
Or,
right, yeah. So that's an important point too. Is you have to kind of do some digging and figure out if you're really pissed off
Yeah,
at that little
what
thing that
is
happened. And yeah, what's the deeper issue here?
Yeah.
And like, if there's going to be a positive outcome, do you
Right.
know what I mean? If there's not going to be a positive outcome, then usually, probably, I would say try to dissolve it.
Yeah.
And just try to let it be, right? If there's not going to be a positive outcome, if people are going to get hurt, then just kind of dissolve it, right? Because
Yeah.
no one wants that.
And unfortunately, there are people that do thrive off of creating negative shit
Oh,
and
absolutely.
hurting people.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, those are the people that I think you kind of have to watch out for right now until they're willing to get the help that they need
Yeah,
to
for sure.
to kind
I
of
think
focus on
that's
these issues.
pretty that's really prevalent in life right now. Right?
It is,
Like, so many
unfortunately.
people come
Revenge and
from chaotic chaos in their life, and like that's attention, right?
Yeah.
So, they don't know the difference between, and I think especially
positive and negative
in
attention.
relationships too, right? Like if you've always had a toxic relationship, you don't know what being in a good, healthy one is with good communication. So if you don't resolve that or deal with it, and you go on to another relationship, you create chaos.
Yeah.
Because if everything's going great,
Yeah. You
right?
need something
Then you're
to-
just like, well,
So you
something.
don't know
So you
how to-
create and sabotage it in a way, and you create like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I used to be that way in relationships at points.
Yeah.
You just like, I look back and being sort of the anxiety and things would be going great. And it's almost like I thought in my mind, like, well, something's got to fuck up here because this is going too perfect. And you almost like,
Self-sabotage.
yeah, you almost self-sabotage
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
So
That's
just,
common. That's a common thing for me.
Yeah.
For sure, self-sabotage. Yeah. Things are too good to be true. I gotta sabotage it.
yeah.
And
Well,
it's attention, right? In some way.
and I think attention is big now, especially with social media. It's almost
It's
an
the wrong
addiction.
attention.
It's the wrong
It is.
attention.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
it's
an
all
addiction.
the wrong kind of attention for the most part.
Because people aren't satisfied with themselves, right?
And
So
you can
they're
become,
reaching out.
you become addicted to this attention that you're trying to get, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. That I don't have a solution for, but unfortunately, do you guys?
No.
I mean, we
No.
just have to keep working through it, and I think admit, just keep talking about what's bullshit and what's real. I mean, that's kind of all we can do. But if we really want to resolve anger, we need to ask ourselves, what is the final outcome? Is it something we really want to resolve? It isn't worth putting ourselves through a stress response again, where our heart is pounding and our blood sugar, I don't know if she said this by accident, and our blood sugar is shooting up and our blood pressure shoots up. Can your blood sugar shoot up when you get really pissed off? Just like
No,
that?
it would drop.
It would drop?
Yeah,
Really?
because your body's using so much energy, right? Your blood sugars would drop.
Which is still going to make you moody.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
well, that will set your anxiety because that's what we were talking about last week, right? Like,
Right.
it gives you that shaky, like sweaty, cold, clammy feeling. You're really dizzy and you're out of it, so you
Is
don't
that
know what's
right?
going on. Yeah.
Like, is that why some people when they get angry they shake? Could it be a blood sugar? Like
Well, I think that's the adrenaline part of it
That
too,
is.
and just
Right.
like anger and stuff. But like, Have you ever had like hypoglycemia? Like low blood
I
sugar?
think so, probably.
So like a lot of people, like when they first work out and go to the gym, if they haven't eaten, like if they've eaten hours before and then they go to the gym, they start exercising and utilizing all their carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like in the gym and they're like getting really out of it, and they'll start sweating profusely, but it's a cold sweat.
Yeah.
And then they can pass out, right? So that's like the shakiness, weak feeling.
I've had that before. Yeah.
A lot of people have.
Yeah, okay.
But they don't know what it is, right?
Right.
And it's just like, well, when did you eat last? And you're like, oh, like 6 hours ago. You go, oh, there you go.
Really?
Yeah.
So
So you had like something sweet, an hour before, so your blood sugar going up, and then it dropped
Crash again.
Yeah.
So what is it with? Could that happen when you hear about people doing that fasted cardio in the morning? Because
Oh yeah.
yeah, so the same kind of thing can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know that we're not talking about exercise, but I'm just curious about that too.
But with the whole exercise thing with this, like putting your anger, like that's where like channeling your anger into like a productive thing, like going for a walk like you do or whatever when you can't sleep, but like going to the gym and putting it into something that's healthy for you.
Right. Right. Instead of
that's
lashing
good.
out at that person.
Yeah.
And that's
For beating yourself up and taking a whole bunch of drugs.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a really good point, Scott. Instead of, and this is where we talked about burnout when you start feeling that anxiety, go to the gym and burn off some of those feelings. But when you're feeling angry, you can use it the exact same way.
Yeah.
Sure. So not worth. Okay, so usually when we talk about this, it's not worth it over something mildly irritating to get angry. Many people use anger as a defense mechanism, often for insecurity, because being mean and nasty is a way of sort of looking like you're in control. At least that's what the person feels like. But all it really does is make you look more insecure.
But then that other person that you're dealing with will back down, right?
Exactly.
Because you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, she could
And it diverts you.
Yeah.
Well, it diverts the other person, to not whatever, right?
Right.
So it is a defense mechanism.
Absolutely,
Sure.
it is. If you're using anger as a means of controlling people, it really makes you look insecure and seem out of control. So ask yourself if your anger is directed at someone who purposely hurt you. If your anger isn't correcting the problem, get rid of it, because it will only make you feel bad. Are you mad about a situation that you can't change or do anything about? If so, accept it and move on. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I know. That's a tough one
The
because
resentments and letting go.
yeah, I know that one's definitely easier said than done to try to accept it and move on. But really, what else can we do? What else can we do?
Acceptance is the answer, right? Like,
Yeah.
acceptance is the answer to things that you don't like. You just got to accept it and work with it. If you can't get over it, you just got to work with it. I think. Like I'm not going to get over some things that I'm pissed off at, but I just have to live with those things and try not to let that anger control me.
Yeah, I think everybody's got to be able to relate to this.
That's where the other person wins, right?
Right.
In a sense.
Yeah.
He's not winning.
Yeah, and that's a struggle in itself
Yeah.
too. Is like I don't want this fucker to win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that can make you angry too.
That makes it. That's exactly right. That's the cycle.
Exactly.
And then you just get raged.
Oh, man.
for sure.
Are you mad about a situation that you can't even change or anything about? If so, accept it and move on. Are you taking someone else's anger towards you personally? This is the point that we were talking about not too long ago as well. Maybe it has very little to do with you. Most of the time when someone is mad at you, it actually has very little to do with you. Maybe they're just having a bad day, or they're tired, or have had too much caffeine, which we touched on last week. Or alcohol too, and in that case, you're not going to win that one.
Be tough one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Just back down on that one. They're right. They're right until morning.
Yeah.
The thing about angry people is that misery loves company, and when they're in a bad mood or they're feeling irritable, they want someone else to feel bad sometimes, so they will go out of their way just to irritate you.
How true is that?
Yeah. So a lot of the time, I mean, you could be the angriest guy in the world, but it's just like those commercials that they've had before in the past where you can show like how one person can smile and it can change everybody's day in a positive way. Yeah. Just as easily, someone can shit on you and do the same thing. And it's the same chain reaction.
Yeah, for sure.
So be the person that smiles, right? Again, everything we say is way easier said than done, but try.
Yeah.
So if you know someone who is going through some personal turmoil in their personal life and they're taking it out on you rather than getting defensive and trying to get back at them or defend yourself, this is where it comes in handy, where we want to stop, we want to step back, and we want to separate ourselves from it. This is where it's going to be hard for people that have had that angry response built in, because right before you snap back at that person, you have to stop, put that stop sign up like we talked about before in previous episodes. Say, okay, I'm about to get angry here, just like if you're about to overreact. Stop, internalize for a second, and say, okay, what's going on with me, right? What's about to happen here? And say, hey, I wonder if they had a bad day, or I wonder what's going on in their life. Why are they so angry? Tell yourself, I'm not going to take this personally. It's not worth dying for. In some instances, this is a bit of an exaggeration, but it could be true. Like in the U.S., lots of people are carrying around guns. We have U.S. audience here, so it has nothing to do with me. So this is where I remember I've been in many situations where people have started yelling or getting worked up over something. I'm like, what the fuck is your problem, right? Yeah. And then I'll get back, right? Just because you want to save face, right? Especially being men, and we're like, who the fuck do you think you are, right? But it doesn't get us anywhere. It just gets us angry, and we might pass that on to the next person that we see. Yeah, this fucking guy did this. You know what I mean? And then that person's mad and pissed off. So the better thing to do is to just stop it with ourselves, which I thought was really insightful. If you're used to being on, or where were we here? Try and make you mad at that point. It's up to you. Okay. So the whole thing is someone can say something to you and try to make you mad, but at that point it's up to you how you are going to respond. It's your decision. If you're used to being on the defensive, then that's what you're going to always do. So this isn't just about anger, it's about forgiveness. It's about not being such a defensive person. It's about self-love.
Right.
So this is kind of when someone's being all pissy and shitting on us, we have to sort of like put the stop sign up, love ourselves for a minute, and just like look at the situation almost like an out-of-body experience and be like, what's going on with this person, right? You kind of have to play detective and pretend that that's not you in that moment, right? Yeah. Because that's how you respond.
I think we gotta like hold off on judgments too. Like maybe they got a bad morning because like they spilled their milk. You know what I mean?
Sour milk?
Sour milk in their porridge. I don't know. I have no idea. But
someone pissed in their cornflakes.
We should validate that, right? Like we should validate that, but at the same time we shouldn't like justify it. We shouldn't say, well, you're allowed to be angry because someone pissed in your cornflakes.
No.
Do you know what I mean? We should say that would make me angry, because it probably would. I don't eat cornflakes, but it probably would make me angry, right?
If someone pissed in your Rockstar.
If someone,
or your Jeep Jubes. The wine, what are they? The wine gums? Wine gums, yeah.
I'd be pissed.
Yeah, there you go.
Rattled. Yeah.
If you're angry about someone who really doesn't care about you anyway, whether it's your boss or an old lover or someone that's not even in your life anymore, and you hold on to that anger, it just eats you alive. Yeah. Because they're still in your life, which is really fucked up. Like you can be. I think I'm on pretty good terms with most of my past relationships right now. I hope anyway. But no one really occupies any space in my mind anymore, which is a really good feeling.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any of that? Like, what do you think of when someone's occupying space? Who's the first? I don't know. We don't need a name, but like, is it a relationship? Is it a family member? What's the one thing we need to let go of?
My family.
Your family is one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. And relationships, like a lot of past relationships.
Yeah.
I've been in very, very toxic relationships with people.
Yeah.
And I know that. I have a tough time in relationships, for sure.
Do you think that you attracted that a little bit? Because
I think I definitely attracted that.
I feel like when we're kind of the ones that need fixing, we attract people that we want to fix, even though it really should be us. Us working on us, rather than working on other person.
Lots of time though, I think there's like again faith and patience, right?
Yeah.
The right person will come, the right things will happen, like
and
the universe.
It is about the universe, and unfortunately right now, as we've noticed, it's a lot about instant gratification this day and age, which is not helping with the whole give it patience, give it time.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't
sit well with people, and that's what's causing the anxiety a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, people only make you miserable if you allow them to do it. You're wasting the precious present moment by holding on to unproductive anger. I'm guilty of that many, many times over. I have to stop myself. I can catch myself now. Meditation helps with that. But I'll still get stuck on a thought and fucking play it out in my mind over and over. and it's doing no good.
No good at all.
No, it does nothing. It really does. Why am I thinking about this? It's just making me mad.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things you have to work on, and it doesn't come overnight. Anger can be an effective emotion, but it can also drain you. It can make you bitter. It can make you depressed. It can make you physically sick, and it can cause a lot of the same side effects as stress and anxiety cause, which is where we talked about the panic attacks. If you're getting angry and upset a lot, you're probably having a lot of panic attacks too.
Yeah.
Or you're directing that in all the wrong places. So who's really hurt by this anger? It sounds like we're hurting ourselves.
Yeah. Ultimately.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you being assertive and voicing your anger in a productive way that's going to accomplish a positive end result? Or are you keeping your anger inside yourself and brewing in silence and feeling mean and rotten? Remember, your anger is a bad habit. It's something you need to be honest about and sincerely want to try to change. That's a tough one too. Trying to just admit to yourself, hey, I'm an angry person.
Yeah.
I'm not a positive person. I need to change some bad habits.
I think there's a lot of freedom once you believe that, though. Right?
Yeah.
Like once you say and freely admit I am an angry person, I think there is some freedom, and there's when growth can start. Right? Growth can't really start when you don't admit that you have a problem. So
yeah, I mean, many people don't want to admit they have problems, but as soon as you start admitting the truth and being honest with yourself, that's the first step to
growth happens.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's when you can actually finally grow.
Yeah.
So, if you want to stop this bad habit, recognize the anger is coming, take a step back, take a 10-second timeout, which we kind of say it's probably even better to do a 24-hour timeout, but 10 seconds at least where you can kind of stop, put that stop sign up. This is a good time to practice that breathing exercise too. So what is it, Paulie?
In for 2, out for 4.
In for 2, out for 4. So breathe in for 2 seconds through your nose, out for 4 seconds through your mouth.
Through a straw, right?
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, you can actually do that when someone's standing right in front of you. If you don't want them to know you're doing it, just sit there calmly, do your 2-4.
Yeah.
Like you said, even you do it when you're speaking, and people kind of get caught up in that moment.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I have to.
They're like, what's going on here? What's he going to do?
Yeah.
So
I have to.
maybe make a surprise decision, and instead of lashing out, breathe in, breathe out, and just respond normally.
Yeah. I like that whole, because that's harder to do, right? Easier said than done to take those 10 seconds. When you're angry, to take those 10 seconds, count it out. I think for the most part, sometimes I need 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's better for everyone involved if I take 24 hours and keep my mouth
shut.
shut.
Say things that you don't mean.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, 10 seconds usually isn't enough.
No.
But 10 seconds is almost like the rule to catch yourself and say, okay, I'm feeling this anger surfacing. I usually do this. Now's my decision to either take the other path in the road and not go down the same thing that's been causing us to be miserable and to have this anxiety and depression.
I think that's good when you take that time out and you say, whether to your partner or whoever it is, just be like, all right, I'm angry right now, pissed off, I need to say things, so just give me some time.
Mm-hmm. Have you been able to do that before in relationships? Yeah, good for you. I always,
It took some time.
Yeah.
I try to. It's a lot easier said than done. I try to, though.
Yeah. I think that the older we get and the more that we have discussions like this, the easier it's going to be to catch ourselves in that moment.
It's about emotional maturity, right? Too, we're getting older, and what's going to happen as we mature, right?
I agree 100%. I think that you kind of have a tendency as you age just to grow on your own, whether you want to or not. But you start to learn more about yourself, and we're just kind of fast forwarding the process, hoping that we can kind of defeat these negative demons before it's too late, right? Yeah. So we talked about the 24-hour timeout and to respond after that, which we all think is probably the healthier way to go if it's really bothering you. Maybe the 10 seconds is good for something that's really just bickering back and forth, where you can say, hey, this is really stupid. Why are we even arguing about this? And you're not going to waste time if you resolve it in that instance if you can. But if it's something deeper and you really feel some high-level anger surfacing, then it's probably better to do the 24-hour break. Mm-hmm. And just not even respond. And I do this a lot on text messages now. If someone sends me a text that pisses me off, instead of getting right in there and jumping, and there's a part of me that I feel like a shooting pain almost.
Yeah,
where I want to get on there and just fucking ream them out. I breathe, I say, you know what, I'm going to look at that again in 24 hours,
Yeah.
and then I'll respond, or I'll just leave it. And a
Yeah.
lot of the time, I just let it be,
Yeah.
you know, and the person gets over it on their own.
Yeah. Just
So,
let it go,
they're the ones thinking about it now. I'm not thinking about it anymore.
Yeah.
When you don't respond, it pisses them off even more.
It kind of does, yeah.
And they're like, or if you say like, listen, I'll talk to you in person, like, just don't text me back. And just, all of a sudden, it's like, da-ding, da-ding, da-ding.
Yeah.
You know, like 400 messages from them, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I told you not to respond.
And the funny thing is when you start to develop some of these skills, you actually mean that. Like, for some reason, people might think that's like a reverse psychology trick where you really want them to start texting.
Yeah.
You don't. You're at the point where, no, like, this isn't going anywhere. Just leave
And
it.
people hide behind their electronics, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, listen, this is if it's something that's that important of a situation, like, I'll talk to you in person because
Right.
you can read people's emotions and look them in the eye and can tell if they're being truthful or not, right?
Sure,
You
yeah.
can say anything they want behind a screen because you're not there in front of them.
And there's lots of room for miscommunication.
Oh
in
yeah,
text
you
messages,
can read
right?
them
Like,
out. But if it's something serious, just be like, listen, this is a serious conversation. Let's just talk in person.
Sure.
And then people are like, uh-oh.
Yeah, and then you'll
I don't
never
want
see
to
him.
talk in person.
Okay, so we talked about the 24-hour rule, and you may not even want to respond at that point in time. You'll be amazed at how much more effective you are. The timeout gives you the time to evaluate the end result. What do you want to accomplish? Maybe you'll just dissolve it, and you won't feel a need to respond at all. A day later, it may not even affect you anymore. A rule we should all try to definitely live by is to never respond immediately. So if you get anything from this today, instead of those knee-jerk anger reactions, if you're feeling that, just remember you don't want to immediately respond when you're getting worked up.
I think those three things, right? That's
Stop, breathe.
breathe,
Yeah.
the 5 and 5,
Yeah.
and the 24-hour rule. Those are
This-
three things to remember this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots to remember, but for the beginning steps,
Yeah.
if you feel that coming on, just remember not to respond right
Walk around the
away.
block,
Yeah.
like, take it out,
Take it, just walk away. It's like
scream into a pillow, punch a pillow, and then come back and, then deal with the person.
or go to the gym, burn off some of that anxious energy.
Or just smash the guy in the face.
We
Or
do
flip their car over or something. Get people off.
That's some things that we don't suggest doing, but hey,
Inside voice.
yeah, inside voice, exactly. No names. A day later, it may not even affect you anymore. A rule we should all try to desperately live by is to never respond immediately. We said that. Never respond spontaneously with your anger. You'll almost always, because we're so sensitive, overreact and probably regret it. So we've talked about having these traits, all of us admittedly as well. We're sensitive people. If you most likely are as well, if you suffer from anxiety and depression. So because we're sensitive, we never want to use that spontaneous anger that comes up. We will almost always overreact to the situation and almost always regret it. So we have a right to get angry, and we have a right to voice our anger, but we need to do it in a mature, assertive way, because that's what will get results and make people respect us. And that's all the notes I have for this evening. Do you guys have anything that you want to add?
I just like that end part, that like don't or try not to respond like spontaneously. That
Yeah.
because in those cases, and I'm guilty of that. I fully admit that I've often said things that I don't mean.
Yeah,
You know,
me too.
And that's out of anger. Then I regret that, and I feel guilty about that afterwards.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe where the 24-hour rule, or that 5 by 5 will come in, or breathing it out. Again, like this is stuff that. For me personally, I'm still working on my anger.
Me too. Yeah, me too. It's it gets less and less, and I find that it's going to take lots of time. I mean, it's even just sort of doing the meditation and living in the Zen sort of way, and trying to be this this person that doesn't even hurt a fly. I still get pissed off way more than I'd like to admit. It's just I can meditate every day, and I still want to smack the shit out of some people, but. You kind of just learn to these coping mechanisms and these tools, and hope that you're growing from it, right?
Yeah.
I think the beauty of it is that we have the time to learn. No
Yeah.
one's got a gun to our head saying you need to learn these tools right now or at this specific time.
Right.
That we're learning them organically.
Yeah.
We're learning them as life goes, right? And as life throws life at us.
Sure.
It's like living with life on life's terms.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
That we just have to take it because who knows what happens tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Really. we could get angry and blow up tomorrow in one way, or maybe after tonight, after reading this stuff or going through it, we might try it a different way.
Yeah.
Maybe the start of the rest of our lives, really.
For sure. And I think, like, the one thing that I've gotten from doing this program is knowing that Lucinda Bassett stresses the present precious moment, like right now, being with you guys and focusing on just being here. Yeah. And I still, to this day, if I could follow that, I know that the moment's beautiful. I know that being here is all there is.
Yeah.
But it's really sometimes when you get that thought in your head, when you get that thought in your head, you can just keep going and going, and it's something that you really need to work on. So, do you have anything you want to add to anybody?
I know this was
a big one for you.
I'm really struggling with a lot of anger.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't know how to let it go.
Well, I mean, hopefully.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Hopefully, are you doing the relaxation tape at all?
Yeah.
Is it helping at all?
It is.
Yeah, you're being patient with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I know it's okay, like, it's okay to have these feelings, and, like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's okay to, like, you know, like you said in the other ones, like, when you're anxious, like, don't be mad at yourself. Like, it's okay. Like, accept it. I'm having these feelings, whatever. You know, it's just, like, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to get over this.
It's okay to be stuck, too.
Yeah.
Like, it really is okay to be stuck. It means that, like,
it's not forever.
It's not forever. Yeah. Being stuck definitely.
It's just the place you are right now. And I think that as we work through further and further, I mean, we're only on week 6. We still have another 9 weeks to go. And maybe by the end of this, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. Like we said, we're talking about patience. Hopefully by the end of this, you at least learn some tools where you're retraining your brain and starting to feel a little bit better about a lot of the situations. So it's really important to use that relaxation tape as well. And we'll do some meditation, man, some actual just seated meditation. Because I think that will help you to kind of pull yourself, if nothing else, it'll help you pull yourself away from your thoughts and bring you back to the present. Or at least that's what they say it does. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed the session on anger. I'm sure there's lots of people that can relate. I know that on social media this is a big thing because you see people that don't even know each other just lashing out at each other over whether it's a news article or whatever. I mean, there's all this stuff in the media.
Trolls.
Yeah, and everybody gets angry over every little thing. So this is something that really, in the world today, we could all...
well, it's that attention thing too, right?
Yeah.
Like having the last word, or like, you know, look at me, and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. Maybe you'll get more satisfaction about just stepping back and not saying anything at all.
And letting it be.
Yeah. Does it really concern you? You know, it's do you have to get involved? Is this something you really need to say?
Yeah.
You know, it goes back to, like, a lot of the stuff that I'm looking at this program in, it goes back to things I learned as a kid. Like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it.
Don't say it at all.
Yeah.
All those, like,
all the old cliche sayings
that your parents used to tell you.
They're fucking
They're so true.
Yeah.
They're so true.
This too shall pass, and you know, all this stuff, right? Like, and you want to tell your parents, like, oh no, like, this is gonna, it passed. You know, I'm okay. But so
but that's the one thing I don't know. Like, my family growing up, there was never any anger. We weren't allowed to express our emotions like that. It was always like, you know, just calm down, and, like, sweep it under the rug, don't talk about it, and then put on a smiley face, and like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
And, like,
but it sounds like you have resentment for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking hate that.
Yeah. Well, she talks about that as being the other extreme, right? Yeah.
We weren't allowed to express it. We weren't allowed to show anger.
Well, it's
okay to be angry. Like, I am fucking angry at a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, we'll deal with it, and the stuff that we can control, we'll try to resolve it. The other stuff, we'll try to dissolve it, right? Yeah. It's all we can do. It really is. Because holding on to that, as we know, it's just those people still have the power. Mm-hmm. We don't want them to have the power. So,
cool.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this Soulfire Sunday. Topic was anger and how to stop having mood swings. As we fully admit, we're still working through it, and this is probably one of the most for us three guys, one of the most key sort of Sundays that we'll be doing. I think this is something we're gonna have to come back to every week and work on. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. We're gonna turn, if you're watching from Facebook Live, we're gonna turn the iPad around, answer some of your questions, and that's it for tonight. We will see you guys next Sunday. So bye for now.